Hello and welcome. It's a good day to be on the farm. My name is Chuck and I'm going to teach you today about grass care, mowing, silage, the difference between grass and hay, and animal care for both sheep and cows. So stick with me and we'll kind of work our way through it and kind of break it down piece by piece to make this a little bit easier to understand for any new players out there. So to start, I bought one grass field. This is on Elm Creek, and I bought field number 71 down here, which if you start a brand new game, it's just got grass on it and it's ready to go. Also bought a garage to house our things, and a Fendt tractor. This is the Fendt Vero 714 or 714. I believe it's 150 horsepower. And to really make it simple, we're going to start with the very basic mower, this Coon here. That is just a single mowing piece on the side, and we're going to talk through a couple of different steps that you can do. And then we'll get into the animals here in a second. So first of all, I'm just going to go ahead and start my engine. And you have to unfold the mower, which goes like this. As you can see, I've already done a little bit of mowing on here, and we're going to work through the tutorial, and I'll kind of explain what I have done and what that does for you in the game, and we'll go from there. So easiest way to do is, this is a very cheap mower and a beginner one that most tractors can pull just by itself. We're going to go ahead and lower the mower and then turn it on. And let me zoom in here a little bit. We're basically going to get as straight as we can, and we're going to start mowing down here along the side. Now it's in a shadow, so that's not great. And then this is actually my sheep pen, which we'll get back to in a second, but we're just going to keep mowing that straight line down the edge of the field. And basically we are making cut grass that we can feed to our animals. This is on the field. Here you can see it's grass ready to harvest, 38%, but this in the margin of your field you can actually mow as well. So you don't have to just stop where the field is. So I'm actually just going to keep going. And as you can see, you can cut the edges of your field as well if you need a little bit more grass. Okay, so that's step one. We're going to go ahead and lift that and turn that off. And I should probably fold it, but I'm not going to. And then you would just come back and kind of turn around and run down the field this way, driving where you had already cut, like so, to give yourself another strip of loose cut grass. But you're going to say, hey, this is a really big field and this is a small tractor and mower. I want to be more efficient. So you can actually buy this Coon front mower and attach it to the front like so. This is going to give me the extra width, because where I was driving I wasn't cutting. I was only cutting here. So now you can actually do both. So I'm going to hold left bumper and lower the mower on the front, and we're going to unfold that, and then left bumper square to turn it on. And we're going to switch with triangle to the back implement. You can see it's in the upper hand left. The blue one in the front is on, the white one in the back isn't. But we've switched to that one to be highlighted. Now we can do the same thing, lower the mower and turn it on. And now we're going to cut two strips that are parallel. And normally you would want to make sure you're not missing that piece in between, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So now I'm cutting a little bit extra grass, and that's going to mean that it's going to be less trips up and down the field. And again, I can run right into the margin like so and cut that grass, and I can even turn around with the mowers on and do the same thing coming back like so. And this is a much more effective way to run two mowers if you can, to get the grass cut a little bit quicker. And then when you're ready to pick this grass up, you can drive over it with a baler, which we'll get to in a second, or a forage wagon. Let me turn this off here. Turn off mower, lift. We're actually going to, well, here, let me switch to the front with triangle again. And we're going to turn off that mower just because it's loud. We're going to switch back here. So now that the grass is on the ground, we need to pick it up. There's a couple different ways to do that, and we're going to walk through those here. First thing I'm going to do is actually fold this. Nope, that was the front. Unfold that, switch to the back. It does get a little confusing when you got the two implements. We're going to fold this mower here and detach it. So one of the things you can actually do, let me run down here and grab my baler. If you decide to do just this front little mower, is grab your little Pottinger baler. This is a round baler, and this is kind of one of the base models. And everything I'm using in this, number one, I play on a PS5. I should have probably started with that. But number two, everything that I'm using in this, you can get in the base game without any mods. I'm trying to make sure I'm not using any mods, at least at the beginning of the tutorial, to kind of make things easier to understand. So we got this strip that I missed. What I can do, again, using two different implements, is I can lower that pickup, lower the pickup, turn on the baler, and then I can switch with my triangle back to the front to turn on the mower, and I'm going to mow in the front and pick up the strip behind in the back with this baler. And the way these balers work, you don't have to have the mower in the front to do this. I could just be picking up the grass on the ground, but it does take a while when you're only doing one swath like this to pick that stuff up. So this is a way you can do it. If you just want to run around your field and bale and mow at the same time, you can certainly do that like so. And once you get to a certain point, you will actually dump out a bale at the back here. I guess let's just, yep, so it starts beeping like that. Let me just run down this side till we get a bale to drop out the back. So once you hit 100%, it opens it up like that and it dumps it out. And then you start collecting again once it gets down, and then you can just keep going like that. Now I'm going to turn that off, fold that mower, and then detach it there, because we're going to do something a little bit different here. I'm actually going to take this, turn off the baler, and pick up that pickup. And just curious, yep, this is a grass bale. Okay, which makes sense because we just mowed the grass. I will tell you why I checked here in just a second. Now, picking things up with the baler like this takes forever if the loose grass is just on the field. So there's implements called windrowers that'll put that in a row for you so that you can make it easier to pick up with the baler. So real quick, we're going to drop our baler off right here. And I've got a windrower that I should have brought down here, but I didn't. So let me run and grab that. I apologize. I had it all set up to do something on this side of the field that we're going to come back to. Actually, let's skip windrowing and do tedding real quick, because the tedder is right here as well. Nope. Scratch that. We're going to stick with windrowing first, and we'll just reset this up here in a second. I apologize. I should have been a little bit more organized from that. But here's a windrower. When you're transporting with it, it looks folded up like this. You just kind of like the mowers, you unfold it, lower it, and use it. So we're going to run back over here, and I'm going to show you what windrowing does. It makes it basically easier to pick up your loose grass because it puts it in a strip for you. So we're going to get here, left bumper and X to unfold it, left bumper and circle to lower it, and then left bumper square to turn it on. And we're going to back out a little bit so you can see this. So it takes all that loose grass and it just puts it in one easy strip that you can run over with that baler and pick it up a little bit faster, because you're basically getting 3 or 4, probably 3 baler widths into one. So you're going to make a lot more bales. Well, you're making the same amount of bales, but you're going to make it in a third less trips up and down the field, which again, this game is all about efficiency. Why do it slowly if you can do it faster and more efficient? So that would be one strip down, and then you don't have to turn it off, you can just lift it, and then you can basically turn around without messing up your previous row. And then you can come back this way and lower it again when you're not hitting your other row. And then you just work your way back down the field like so. Whoops, that's some crazy driving as I was trying to get the camera sorted out. Now, because I already baled the row on the left and I'm kind of overlapping on the right, you can see this strip is not as big as the other one, but it's still easier to pick this up than 2 passes with the baler, so on and so forth. So that's what a windrower does, is makes it a little bit easier to get up and down the field with your baler and pick those things up. Now I'm going to turn that off, lift that, and we're going to dump this right here on the edge of the field. So we're just doing grass right now. So the third thing I want to show you is this pickup wagon. So you can pick things up in bales and have to manage those bales, or you can do things a little bit more loosely and use one of these wagons, which has a pickup that you would raise and lower like normal using triangle, or excuse me, left bumper circle to lower that pickup. You can see I'm raising it and lowering it there, and then you'll basically turn this on with left bumper square, and I'm going to start picking this grass up, and you can see it's going inside there, and you can see it's filling up. I'm 1% filled up, I'm 2% filled up, so on and so forth. And so you can pick up this nice neat bale that you just windrowed, or this nice neat row of grass that you just windrowed, rather than baling it. So save yourself a step, which is always nice. And the other thing is, this is about the same width as my tractor. So one thing that you can do, and let me avoid this bale that we dumped off here, but I can actually come up here and attach this mower. And again, switching with triangle, I can get to the front, where I can lower mower and turn it on, unfold it, sorry, and turn it on. And now I can actually mow and pick up at the same time, because these are the same width. So another easy way to do it if you don't want to mess with bales is you can actually just mow with a front mower and pull a wagon in the back. And you can see I'm picking that up, so on and so forth. The nice thing about these wagons is you can just sort of dump them straight into the animal pens, which is what we were going to sort of talk about here. So I'm going to turn off that mower, fold it, because you can't detach it till you have folded it. And then we're going to turn off our wagon and detach our mower. And a little bit of a strip, because obviously that's the width, the length of my tractor that I didn't get to pick up there, but I've got a wagon that's 30% full with 4,913 liters of grass. And you can kind of see my little track here that we mowed. So there's 2 different ways to pick it up. You've got this bale here that you can deal with, or you've got the wagon here. Now if you're going to do the bale, you'll get a front loader and we'll pick it up with bale spikes, or you can just use this in the back. So here's my sheep pen. We're just starting with sheep because they're simple and easy. Here's my sheep pen. I've got 20 sheep in here. You can kind of look at them here on the back. I can see in here that they have 10,530 liters of food, 20 animals, and 20% health just because I bought them today. But if you click into your menu here and tab up to animals, here are my Steinschaft sheep. They eat grass. That's all they eat. You can feed them hay, but grass is cheap and easy. And I just showed you both 2 different ways to get grass. Then all you would do is literally drive this up here to this front part and dump them out. And I missed my trigger, or they're too full. So let me just see if I can get this to trigger. Might have put too much in from the bales that I already did before I started the video. Let me get back here. Maybe, oh yeah, my loading wagon has to be turned on in order, and now you see at the bottom, start overloading grass. I can R1 and triangle, and I can just dump this grass out the back, straight into the sheep pen, and it will stop when they're full. So as you can see, I still have 24%, but now my sheeps are at 11,500 liters. You can't put food in normally until you have purchased the animals to put in there. So that's something to be aware of as well. I'm going to turn off the wagon, hop out here. So how do you get animals in there, you might be asking yourself? Well, that is easy. You go to this paw print icon here, and it's L3 on a PS5, and you can literally look at the different types of sheep that are available. Currently I have 20 of 65 in the pen, and they're all Stein Schaff. I'm going to go ahead and go down here to a Swiss black-brown mountain sheep. Now there's two choices. This is age 0, gestation period of 5 months, puberty is 8 months. These are $200 sheep, but they're not going to produce much because their puberty is very low because they are age 0. So these are basically newborn lambs. Here, these are 8 months old, and their puberty is 8 months. So these ones are going to be ready to go. So I put in some larger ones of the Stein Schaff, I believe. Yep, they have 8 months. So I'm going to buy a couple of the baby Swiss black-brown. So we're going to just go ahead and hit X on there, and I'm going to just take it down to 2, as you can see. Actually, let's do 1 to show you. So the price is $200. It's $30 fee to ship them. And we're going to talk about that here later in the video, but I'm just going to get 2, and that fee did go up to $60. So for $460, I'm going to get 2 brown lambs. Square is going to buy those. Yes. And now you can see, hopefully they'll be, yep, there's my 2 baby brown lambs. 0 months. Here, these guys are 8 months, so they're going to be producing things more often. But now that we put those lambs in, well, our food still says 100%, but normally when you buy more, it creates more room for food. So anyway, that's how one way to buy them. I will show you how to avoid that delivery fee when we get to the cows here in a minute. But so that's pretty much it for sheep. So if that's all you came here for, that's all you needed. 2 different ways to get grass, how to put it in there. You drop it where the little dump icon is here, and you get the sheep from here. If you buy one of these houses, you don't have to water them. If you buy the little pen in the construction, animals, sheep, if you buy this first little pen, you have to water them. You can see it's got a little water drop way to the lower right hand corner. This only holds 15, and you have to water them every day. The 2 buildings have plumbing built in, so you don't have to worry about it. So that's what I recommend. It makes it really easy. And lastly, when the wool comes out, which hopefully will happen at the end of the video, it will appear in this area here, and then you can load it up. Okay, so that is grass. That is easy. We're going to go ahead and start talking about hay, because hay can feed your sheep as well, but it's a little more expensive because it has an extra step that you have to go through, and if they can eat grass and just be fine, why wouldn't you do that? But when you get to cows, there's a reason that you're going to want hay. So let me just run over to the cow pen real quick, because I want to show you why we would want hay, and then we're going to start working through some of the more advanced pieces of this puzzle. So apologies, spoiler alert for the hay that I just ran over on the ground. We're going to talk about that in a second. So here's my cow pen. Works very similar to how the sheep pen works, but you need a couple of extra things. So number 1, I'm going to get my front loader with bale spikes on here, and we're going to start taking a look at a couple of different things. But let's start with here. So I've got some Holstein cows, which are adult cows that make milk and also slurry, and then they can also reproduce. My cows are 12 months old. At 18 months old, they can start reproducing baby cows, or calves, I believe they're called. So you can see under the food section of here, they have 4,434 liters of hay, which is 80% effectiveness. Grass, they have 0 liters. It's 40% effective. So hay, by making it hay, it's twice as effective for food. And then there's something called total mix ration, which we'll get back to once we talk about hay. And we're going to kind of feed the cow a combination of those things. In addition, cows also need straw for their bedding to make them comfortable and healthy. And we'll discuss that momentarily as well. So, first of all, to make a hay bale, or to make hay that we can pick up on that's loose on the ground, we need to mow some more grass. Because then we're going to use an implement to change that grass into hay by flipping it over and letting it dry out on the field. So let me come back over here real quick, because the last thing I wanted to show you was these bale spikes, because obviously I showed you how to pick up with this wagon and dump in there. If you're going to pick up with the bale spikes, it's very simple and easy, but it is a little different. You'd have to have a front loader, a tractor that can have a front loader, buy the front loader, and then get these bale spikes on the front of that. So here is the bale spikes. I'm going to lower that down, straighten that out. We're basically going to skewer this bale, and then you can see that's 3,500 liters of grass. And we pick it up like this, and then we would just bring it over to the sale point, and we're just going to see if these 2 extra lambs eat anything, and if it's going to take any of this or not. It's probably not going to, but we'll get back to it. So we would drop it right there. If they could eat it, they would take some of it, but it's not disappearing, so they're full, which is what we saw on the menu earlier. But that's how you would pick that up. And again, to pick it back up, you just do the same thing, pick that back up, and then you can store them somewhere on your farm, and I'm going to show you an easier way to do that as well here in a second. So I'm going to take this off the trigger and set it down, and we will feed that to them later. So I showed you one easy way to mow, and then a way to mow that was a little more advanced, so you could do it a little bit wider, and then a way to mow with both the baler attached to the back and the wagon. But some people might say that's too much work, so you might want to go get a bigger tractor with a butterfly mower on the back. So here's my JCB. This is very nice. When you get this pair, so instead of doing just one side like this setup that we had before, this one actually does 2, because it's a butterfly. And there's a difference between the Coon one that we bought there that's white and red, and these, which are yellow and red, and I will tell you the name of them here in a second as we get going. So the nice thing about this is you can unfold this mower and see it's double wide basically on the back, and it has a space for the one on the front as well. So we're going to basically run 3 mowers at once. This does take more horsepower. My little Fendt over there is 150. This JCB is 235. To run these mowers, and let's just take a look at them now that you've seen them, and it's not a spoiler that I had more mowers hiding in the shed. So Pottinger, that's what it is. So here's the Coon front mower that we had, and the back mower that we bought originally. This Pottinger mower is a little more expensive than the other front mower, but they kind of do the same. It's just the same width. But this back one, this NovaCat Crossflow, is really nice because it can do a couple of different things I'm about to show you. But look at this, 160 horsepower, and 70 is 230. That's why I had to get the JCB, which is 235, to run these two. Okay, so that's how that works. So you do the same basic thing here, where we're going to lower our mower, switch to the front, unfold, lower. Before we turn on, I'm going to switch back to the back mower here because this has something that's called, excuse me, nope, where's the back? Here we go. Right now it says selected work mode wide spreading. Wide spreading is what we have just seen here. So I'm going to show you the difference in this piece of grass right here. So we're going to turn on this mower and switch to the front and turn on that mower. And wide spreading gives you a strip like this, just like the other ones did, except for I'm going to get a strip on both sides because I've got the butterfly in the back. And then we're going to, and I apologize, my line's not great. I just went at a weird angle there, and so now I'm just cutting this in, but I basically would do this as a double section like this, and it mows a lot faster to do that. So to make hay, we would need to spread it wide like this, and then we would need to bring a piece of equipment over called a tedder, which I'll show you in just a second. But what I wanted to also show you about this mower, the Pottinger, which is really nice, is you see that selected work mode wide spreading, and it took me a long time to figure this out. So I looked online, couldn't find it, so I just want to put it here in this tutorial so you guys got it. If you're on a console like I am, you have to have the rear butterfly mower off, and you see those red flaps on the back, we're going to adjust those. So you hold right bumper and L3 to toggle my work mode. So if I put them both down, this is going to give me a swath, which we'll talk about in a second. But I can also put one flap up, the other flap up, or both flaps up to get the wide spreading like we did. But we're going to go back to swath. Then I can turn the mower back on. And this, we're going to come over here and do right next to this. Gives me the same effect as mowing and windrowing. So I don't have to buy a windrower if I'm going to do these two Pottinger mowers. And I get basically the triple mowing area, but it already windrows it into one row for me, which is very convenient for when you're trying to make bales. So this is my recommended way to mow if you're going to be baling. So we're just going to finish this strip out because I want to show you a couple of things here about the balers as well as we talk about the different types of grass. Grass is obviously the first thing that we've done here, and we're going to go ahead and just stop that here, lift that up, switch to the front, stop that, lift that. I'm just going to turn off the JCB for a second. We're going to take our Fendt over here, and we're going to go grab this tedder, which I left down here at the bottom of the field. So grass is that dark green. This perceptive viewer might have noticed that this swath of grass over here is a lighter green. Ooh, I apologize, backing up into those trees is not a great shot. But we're going to go ahead and just get back here, pick this up. This is a tedder, and what this does is it flips over the grass, this dark green grass that we've cut, to make it into hay. So you lower the tedder and turn on the tedder, and we're basically going to run down and up, and see it's taking this grass and flipping it over and leaving that light green hay behind us. And the nice thing too is this size of a tedder is the same width as those double mowers, the butterfly mowers that we just had. So that's really convenient. That you can basically just run up and down these swaths that you just cut and turn this into hay. And then we're going to come back down and do the same thing here. Now I could run over that swath that I just made, but that's really made for bales. So if I'm doing, you can't, it would mess it up like this, and spread it out again for hay, then I'd have to go back and windrow it again, which is kind of redundant for what we're teaching you here. So I'm not going to do that. But here is my tedder, and boom, I have just made some hay. Alright, so we're going to pick that up, turn this off, and I am just leaving implements all over the farm, which is fine because this is a tutorial. So now I'm going to run back, and we do the same thing that we did before with our grass that was spread out wide, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to use this windrower to put that into a swath that we can pick up. And we can pick it up again with either the forging wagon or with the baler, but I'm going to do bales from here on out because I have a couple of things I want to show you with that. So this windrower is really nice. It's a little bit wider than the swath of our tedder, but we're just going to run up and down anyway. We're going to turn that on. And again, this is going to make us 2 nice rows of hay. Now, I apologize. I was going to not do this one because you're supposed to leave it out and let it dry once you flipped it over on the ground like that. So a normal farmer wouldn't be able to make hay immediately. They would have to let that sit for a little bit, which is why I left this over here, which is grass that I had previously went down, mowed, and tedded and let it sit out and dry. Now, the game doesn't care. It let me make hay with either side, but for teaching purposes, I'm going to explain that the reason that you would leave it out is to let it dry out, and that's how you would make hay. So hay is just dried grass. You treat it kind of the same way, except that you have that extra step of tedding with the tedder like so, until you can make it into a windrowed swath that you can pick up. So not only do you have to spread it out when you cut it with the mower, you have to ted it with the tedder, then you have to go back and windrow it. There's no cheap and easy way to make hay immediately in a windrow like we're doing here, like we did with that really cool Pottinger mower set, because you have to spread it out to dry. So hay just takes longer to make because you have to run over it once to mow, a second time to ted it, a third time to windrow it, and then a fourth time to pick it up with a baler or with a loading wagon like we showed earlier. So, but obviously, as we showed a second ago for our cows, hay is 80% effective for cows, where grass is only 40. So we're going to want the hay because that is going to be a bonus. Our cows are going to be twice as effective if they're eating hay instead of grass, which is obviously why you would want to do it. Also, it sells for a little bit more if you need to get it from the shop, or if you need to sell it, if you're making it to sell rather than to feed your animals. So if you have the patience for it and you want to do it, you certainly can. So again, the baler works the exact same for hay as it did for our grass. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit and back up. This is the cheapest round baler, I believe, in the shop, this Pottinger. And since we had the Pottinger butterfly mowers, I decided to get this to kind of show you just a cheap and easy way to make round bales. And again, you would pick them up with the bale spikes that I have on the front of this. Alright, so we're going to come down here, do the same thing that we did before, and turn on our baler and lower the pickup. I set those backwards, then I did them, but you have to do both of them, it doesn't matter in what order. And then I'm going to start running down my row, and the little icon in the bottom corner had grass in there, but once I started putting hay in, it switched to a hay icon, because that's what I'm currently doing. And I'm just going to run down here until it starts beeping, and then it should drop one out the back. And you do have to stop when it starts beeping, because otherwise you will leave a bunch of grass on the ground, and I'm actually going to run through it just so you see what happens. So the baler will open up and spit that out, but you see that path? I missed all of that stuff because I didn't stop. So the idea is when it beeps, you slow down, and then when it hits 100%, you stop, so that you don't miss grass like so on the ground. And we're going to just go till we have a second hay bale out the back of here. And then we're going to get to easiest ways to transport the bales. Again, using things that are in the core game without any mods. There are lots of mods about how to handle bales, so just be aware. But we're going to just show not necessarily the cheapest, but the easiest way to handle them. So it just spits it out 100%. I stopped, then that closes, and then you can see the pickup there. I'm going to move forward, and then under my tractor, it starts picking that up again. And there you go. So that's all I'm going to show you here. Turn off that baler. We're going to disconnect. So the next thing I'm going to show you, actually, I'm going to turn off this mower, and I'm going to switch back to the JCB. We're going to continue to just drop mowing implements all over the yard. Gotta fold it first, can't drop it without folding it. That would be apparently ridiculous. So we're gonna drop that here, and then we're gonna come racing across the field. Apologize, I probably should have mowed in the general direction I was gonna go, but I was following the edge of the field because that's what I normally do. So we know about grass, we know about hay. There's a third type of bale that we can make, and you can see they're in these white wrappers, and I've loaded a bunch of them up already on my bale trailer. So we're going to start with showing you the bale trailer here, because this is how I would recommend the first time you do it. Just do it like this. But I also wanted to show you this right here is a grass bale, and you can see in the lower right it says bale owned by you, grass 3,500 liters, and it's a little bit darker green. This bale is a hay bale. It's 4,500 liters, and it's a little bit lighter green. And then these white ones are silage, but we're going to come back to them in a second, because if you peek at it right now, it actually says grass, and that's because it's fermenting. It's only 6% fermented, so technically that's a grass bale in a wrapper. It has not turned to silage yet. To get silage, you actually take a grass bale, you wrap it in basically tinfoil, and you let it bake in the field for basically 2 in-game days, and then it will ferment. So here's my trailer. This thing holds up to 24 bales. It's awesome. You can go to operating position with left bumper and square, like so, and it puts down that little fork, and then you just pick up a bale, and it's going to fold it up like that. That's the second one, and then here it's going to do a third one for me. And it's going to put it on top, and then this whole section is going to move back, and now I have 12 bales on there. And I'm just going to pick up one of these hay bales that I just did real quick, just to show you basically starting a new row, so that you can see 3 different bales that I picked up. And I'm going to pick up this one where I didn't stop to let it out, so that I could pick up that hay if I wanted to. And then the nice thing also is to unload these bales. Obviously we're not going to run around and grab any more bales just yet. You would pull around like so. Oops, took that corner a little bit tight. I wanted to get farther back. So we'll just go like this, and we'll kind of put them over by the road. You hit left bumper triangle to unload the bales, and it will fold this up like so. And then once this is done tilting, you can actually left bumper and triangle, and it will unload those off the back, and you can pull forward while it's doing that if you've got it in a spot that you'd like, or it will just kind of push it backwards. I just didn't want it to go in the road. It was pretty far away. And then you lower the platform, and that will fold everything back up. And I'm just going to drive this out of the way over here and kind of dump it off, because we're going to need to access those bales here in a minute. So I'm going to put this back into, actually automatically goes back in a transporting position like so, and folds up. So we're going to drop off that trailer. That's the Anderson trailer. Holds 24 bales, drops them off in that triangle formation. It's really, really great. So to make our silage bales, you need a wrapper, And this is, I believe, the cheapest round bale wrapper. So it's a baler, and then it's going to spit it out the back and actually wrap it for us as well. It is a lot more expensive than that little Pottinger, but it saves the step of having to bale everything and then come back and wrap everything. So we're going to come back down here to where we have a nice row put together, and you basically do the same thing that you would do before. We're going to turn on our baler and go from here. You see I've already got 90% in there from a previous bale I was doing, so it's already going to beep. Same sort of thing, get to 100% real fast because this is 3 rows in one. It's going to spit that out here in the back, and then it's going to start wrapping that for me like so. And then once the door's closed, I can continue driving, and it's going to wrap it while I'm driving. And I have my automatic drop on, so it's going to just dump it off the back when I'm done. You can leave it off if you want to control where you put them, but I find it to be too many buttons to press, so I just usually leave it on automatic. And I'm going to make a bale like that. Again, hit 100% and stop. It's going to spit it out and start wrapping us for it. Once that door shuts on the back there, then I can begin anew and start wrapping new bales. Now the nice thing about this baler too is you can use it for more than just silage bales. So for example, we've got ourselves to 70% and it's going to drop this off. I'm going to lift the pickup for a second so that I don't grab this grass here, and so I can drive a little faster. And we're going to come back down here and we're going to start picking up hay. Obviously the moisture that's wrapped in there is what turns it into silage. So if you come and pick up hay, and hopefully there'll be enough in this little strip here, and if not, we'll just jump over to that other one. So we're going to lower here. This, I believe, will switch to hay once we start picking up hay. Nope, it didn't, because it had too much grass in there. So we picked that up. It went to 100, but it still is going to wrap this one because it came out as grass. So let's come down here and see if we can get a hay bale out the back of this from this strip up here. So I'm going to lower that pickup and we're going to start fresh with hay. You can see the icon is different, so it's giving me a hay bale now, and we're probably going to need this tiny little bit that's under that tractor. So we'll see how close we get, and if we need to come back and take that, we will. I don't know that there's going to be enough in this strip, so I apologize if I have to jump over and do this, but basically it will spit the hay ones right out the back without having to go through all the trouble of wrapping them. So you can use the same baler to make both grass and hay, or essentially make silage. Now if you want to make just a grass bale and this is the baler that you have, you can't. You need a little Pottinger to make grass bales without it wrapping. There's no way to turn off the wrapper that I have found in game. But you don't normally need grass bales unless you're doing sheep, and then you can use the foraging wagon, and then you wouldn't need hay bales. It's only when you're doing both that this becomes a problem. So let's turn this on. We're going to back up real quick, get this out of the way. I wish I could have that 19% back, but I can't. So I'm going to drop that here, and then get out of this tractor, back into this one. Apologize for the back and forth here. This is not going to be 25%. Well, we do have this hay over here, so let me lift this pickup and we will just drive this. So you'll see that this picks up at a much slower rate when you don't have it windrowed. It's going to take me a lot longer to get to 100% if it's not windrowed, but for the sake of the argument, again, I have to stop or I'll miss stuff, but it's going to spit that out the back, and watch, it's going to take this hay bale 4,500 liters and it's just going to drop it off without wrapping it. So again, that is an easy way to just turn off that baler, disconnect this here, and come back over to our cows. So we've made hay bales, we've made grass bales, and we've made some silage bales, but they're not silage yet. So I'm actually going to do a couple of things real quick. Number one, we're going to come over here, and this is a silage bale I made a little bit ago, but still isn't quite done yet. So we're going to pop out, look at that. It still says grass, 7%. Okay, but my cows eat grass, so we're going to go ahead and grab this. And to feed the cows, it's kind of like the sheep. You need to find that dump icon, and it's right in the middle of this thing here. So we're going to come in here, and I'm going to show you that this isn't a silage bale yet, because I'm going to drop it on their eating area here, back up. It's taken in there, and now we went from 4,000 liters of hay to we also have 3,500 liters of grass sitting there. That's 40% effective. Now they're going to eat the hay first because they've got it, but they're going to eat that grass once that hay runs out. So we have a little bit of backup food for our cows. I'm actually going to come grab this hay here as well. And we're going to come grab this other hay bale that we just dropped off. We're going to dump those in there just to make sure they've got enough food for a couple of days. And then we're actually going to fast forward until we have some silage, and I'm going to show you what that TMR is all about. So, got my 2 hay bales on the front. We're going to come over here, and we're going to drop these off in the cow bin like so. I don't know if the right one is going to connect. It's going to be too far off. We're going to back up. Oh, they both disappeared. Yeah, so look, now we have 8,000 liters of hay and 3,000 liters of grass. Felt like that should have been more hay. Nope, the right one's still on there. That's what I thought. We have to get a little bit closer. There he goes. And now we should be at 12, 13, even better. Okay, so our cows have enough food to get us through. So we're going to come over here, and we're going to just pass some time. Actually, we're not going to pass time just yet. Sorry. Hold on. I forgot that I was going to show you how to avoid the fee. So cows are the same way. I bought some Holstein cows. I bought them at 12 months because they could produce milk at that point. You can get them at 18 months, and that's when they can start reproducing, or you can buy little calves at 0 months for $200. So same thing I could do if I was going to maybe buy some brown Swiss calves. I'd buy them like here, but look at that, $50 instead of $30 delivery fee. That can really add up if I'm buying a bunch of cows, especially if I'm buying, you know, 18-month mature cows. Look, that's like $16,000. So one of the things we're going to do is actually come out here, and on this map, the animal farm is way up here. And you can see it right there. Animal dealer is on this side. So my animal dealer is in the upper left. That is where you'd go to get your cows. I actually parked this Fendt tractor up here with this trailer. And it's got that same icon right here where you would buy those animal dialogue. So I'm going to jump in my tractor, hit my trigger to go there, and we're going to buy some brown Swiss. But we'll just buy calves this time because the other ones can produce milk for me. And I believe I can hold, the max I can hold in this trailer is 6 cows. So we're going to go ahead and put those 6 cows in, but look at that, the fee is 0. So I would go ahead and buy these square and put them in there. And now you can see my trailer is 6 of 6 cows, and you can actually see them in the back of the trailer like so. You can see them in there. Can't open the doors, but so we're going to go ahead and drive this back down, and we're going to unload these cows into the same spot that the other cows were. and I am directionally challenged, so I just need to see which way I'm going. Yep, taking a left. So we're going to go ahead and drive back to the farm real quick and drop these off. Then we'll pass the time to the next day. And probably 2 days, actually. We'll probably skip 2 months just to make sure that silage is fermented, and I'll show you about TMR. Now this trailer can hold, oh, probably shouldn't do this while I'm driving, but this trailer can hold 6 cows. I'm going to pull it up in my purchases here for under animal transport. It can hold 6 cows or 13 pigs or sheep. So I could do 13 sheep in a trip. Obviously cows are bigger. So that is what is causing them to only be able to hold 6. So we're going to come down here, and let me check my map again. Yep, this is our turn here. So we're going to turn down this road. We're going to drop these cows off in our bin. And the last thing I'm going to show you is that TMR, which we'll get to momentarily. Hope you guys have been enjoying this video. It's real fun for me to make, also real helpful for new players who haven't had to figure all this out. I didn't know what I was doing the first time I tried to manage livestock, especially cows. So I always find videos like this extremely helpful. And that's why I wanted to kind of make one. So just wanted to share that with you guys because other people have shared their videos with me, and that's kind of how I got into this whole thing in the first place. All right, so we're back home. L3 to open the animal dialogue. Now we're going to take these 6 brown Swiss calves, select them, and then you can see in the lower left-hand corner it says move to husbandry with square. I can go ahead and put those in, and now I've moved them from my trailer into my cow pen, and I now have 16 cows instead of 10. The brown Swiss are 0 months, and these are 12 months. All right, so we're just going to park this trailer over here. And then we're going to go ahead and fast forward the time real quick and see what we can do with some new bales. So, lastly, I don't have a sleep point on this map because I just bought this grass field. So we're going to throw down a farmhouse real quick, except for I'm not going to put down a house. I'm just going to use this $50 lizard tent. If I can find a nice spot that's flat. Of course, the flat spot is where I parked this trailer. Boom. All right, so we're going to go ahead and skip a day. And we'll do 9 o'clock just to see what it looks like. Don't want it to be dark when I'm trying to explain how to make TMR. TMR is specific to cows. It's called Total Mixed Ration, and it mixes a couple different bales of different types, which helps you. And we're going to go ahead and check our animal dialogue here. You can see our sheep are now at 100% health because they still have all that food, so they're doing great. Our cows are getting there. Our Holsteins are doing better, but their hay is running a little bit lower. We do have a little bit of milk. We've got a little bit of slurry. We're doing okay on everything else, but we made it to September. Nobody was running out of anything. And let's go look at our silage real quick. So our silage bales are still grass. They're 42% fermented. And we've got some hay and some grass over here. So let's go ahead and sleep one more day. Ooh, look, do you see that deer just come running out of the woods? And there's a train. Okay. So we're going to sleep one more day till 9 in the morning. Get a little bit of rain overnight. But that's just fine. All right. Yep. In October, not as bright in the morning. So 92% fermented. We don't have anything that's 100% fermented yet. So we're going to do two things. Number one, I'm going to come down here to my settings, and we're going to make this much faster while we let that finish fermenting. The other thing that cows need is straw, and I know we talked about that a little bit, but we didn't finish talking about it. My cows need more straw. These are straw bales. You can get them from harvesting barley, wheat, or things like that, sorghum maybe, and leave a swath on with your harvester. Then you bale them with a baler just like we did. Either of the balers I showed you will make these straw bales. I didn't have a field that did that, so I actually bought those straw bales that you saw there from the farm store under bales, and you can buy hay or silage or straw straight from the farm store. And here, I didn't know this for a long time either, you can actually buy 8 at a time in the upper right hand corner, so then you can stack them, and so you can buy it in bulk, and then you just go down there with your 24 bale baler and haul them, bale trailer, and haul them all back. So that's how I got these bales here. And then this is our mixing wagon, which will help us mix the TMR. But for this round, I'm actually going to show you a mixing wagon will also shred your bales for your cows. So I'm going to pick up this 5,000 liter straw bale, bring it in here while we're waiting for those to finish fermenting, and we're going to drop this into the back of our mixing wagon like so. Oops. And I can't see in there without driving, but you see it just took it and ground it up. And that way I don't have to get a bale shredder. You can get a bale shredder, but I find them to be a little bit finicky, and if you're doing cows, you're going to get a mixing wagon like this anyway. And you can see that just says this is 100% straw. So I'm going to take a big wide turn here and take this 5,000 liters of straw, and currently, and if you drive in here at the bottom, you can see right bumper triangle will start overloading the straw. Currently my cows have 8,000 liters of straw. They need a little bit more, so we're going to go ahead and overload this, and it just kind of spits that straw out, and that's bedding for them. Now my cows have 11,000 liters or 13,000 liters. Still yellow, but it's much closer to the green. So that is how you would get the straw in there, which helps them stay healthy. And we're going to come back over here, and we're going to start looking at how do we make our TMR. So we basically need 3 to 4 bales of differing types to put in there. We're going to need not hay, we're going to need our grass bales, like this grass bale over here. We need silage bales, 99%, come on. Alright, so, and you can use straw as filler. So we got to drive around the back here, and we're going to just put these in one at a time to give those time to ferment. So we're going to take this, and apologize for driving through the bushes, but not a lot I could do with the placement here. We're going to lower this, drive in there, pick up this grass bale, knock over those silage bales, but that's fine. So this is grass, and we are going to lift this and drop it into our mixing wagon like so. And we've got one thing of straw. Now, hopefully we have a silage bale. Now it says silage, 3,500 liters. Are you silage? Are you silage? Yes. So we're going to grab one of these silage bales using our bale spikes and our front loader. You can also do this with a forklift or with a telehandler. Telehandler is probably my favorite way to do it, but that was an extra piece of equipment I'm going to assume you don't have yet. If you have a big dairy farm, you might want to get one because you're going to be doing a lot of mixing, but you can do it with your normal tractor and your front loader like so. So we've dropped one grass in. Now we've got one silage in.